Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about the Blackstone Chronicles, Part 4, In the Shadow of Evil, The Handkerchief, the longest title yet, by John Saul from Random House Publishing. Part 4 of a serialized novel that came out in 1997. And really quick, the town of Blackstone, each part so far has been a mysterious figure secretly giving a gift to someone in Blackstone, the town, and horrible things are happening. It's all tied to this asylum that's at the top of the hill that's being torn down or renovated. We'll get to that in a minute. And it's all leading to part 6, where I assume all my questions will be answered. This book has a map of the town of Blackstone. Part 3 was the first time we had that, but this also adds a little family tree, the Connolly family tree, of which Oliver Metcalf is a member, and he's basically our main character. So, in this book, though, we have a handkerchief, and the writing's good. The characters are interesting. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. I don't expect any huge differences within this series as far as that goes. There's creepy stuff going on. But in this instance, I think at least half of the page count is the town and the characters and secrets and history, and then the other half or less is the story of the handkerchief. Handkerchief. So the previous 3 books, the first one especially, we had a little bit about the town and its people, but the biggest chunk of it was the doll and how that affected the McGuire family. The second one, the majority of it was the locket and how it affected the Hartwick family, I believe that was. And then the third, a little more character and town stuff, but the majority was still the dragon lighter and how it affected the people that had that. It's the last one I read, and I can't remember their name. Ward. But now we're getting more other stuff. And the handkerchief and how it affects the Wagners is not the majority of the story. But that's okay, because we are building to that big climax. But it does sort of break the episodic feel a little bit. We have more history of the town. I don't remember if I've mentioned that basically each book starts with this mysterious figure grabbing the object, taking the object that he's going to pass on. And then we get the story, basically a flashback of why that object is significant and who the owner was way back in the past, which sort of informs how it's going to affect the people that it's given to. The doll had the loosest ties, I think, to the effect, but everything else has been, once we've seen what's happened in the past, it very much reflects what's going to happen in the present. And I like that, so that's a nice aspect to what's going on. It does give you the chance to guess, I suppose, at what's going to happen. Don't always get it right. I was a little concerned about one of the characters. Excuse me. Um, it's late. It's after 11, but I just finished the book and wanted to do this video before I start the next one. Um, so yes, it's as well written as the previous three. The characters are just as interesting. The mystery is building a little more. We're getting clues sprinkled around, but we're getting other new mysterious aspects added. Some of the little things that were hinted at in earlier books are we're getting a little more information about those things. Um, I have not rated it yet. I mean, I finished the book. I grabbed my light. I started recording. So I think this is going to get another 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. So the first two were 5 out of 5. Number 3 and now number 4 are 4 out of 5. It's still entertaining. There's still some really creepy stuff going on, but the I think the shock value that the first two gave me, that bumped it up to that 5, has been missing in these two. But there's 2 more to go, and we will see if John Saul can bring it back up to a 5. Couple things. I don't know if I should mention them now or wait until I do my recap video where I talk about the whole thing. But I guess I thought of it while I was reading this. It kind of tickled the back of my brain in previous books, but really came forward in this one. And that's because we are dealing with an asylum, a mental hospital. There are a lot of different depictions of mental illness, although not all of them are mental illness, because this is stuff that takes place in a time when an unwed young woman getting pregnant could lead to her being locked away. There are some depictions of actual people, not actual people, you know what I mean, people with actual mental illnesses. And of course, it's always tricky in fiction when telling a story how to depict it. On the one hand, these people aren't bad guys. On the other hand, I don't know how accurately these mental illnesses are depicted. And how fairly, well, I know the characters aren't treated fairly because they're in this horrible, horrible place. But I mean fairly by the author, if they're being treated fairly by the author in his depictions of. I'm trying to think now. The first book, it wasn't a mental illness, and the second book, it wasn't really a mental illness. It's only the third and the fourth. So take that however you want, I suppose. Just some thoughts that I was having, since we are dealing with, again, I mean, they keep calling it an asylum. It's the Blackstone Asylum. But what went on there? Well, we know some of what went on there, but why is this mysterious figure so tied to it? Why is this mysterious figure out for revenge against the families of people that did horrible things? I'll find out soon enough. And then, well, you won't find out. I'm not going to give anything away. You'll find out if it's worth finding out. How's that? Yeah, so Oliver Metcalf still the main overall focus, even though in each book there are different families and characters that are the focus of that singular story. Oliver Metcalf is the focus of the overarching story. And again, he's surrounded by mystery. I guess that's it. I don't know. It's late. This is the second of these videos I've done today for this series. So that's the Blackstone Chronicles Part 4. In the Shadow of Evil, the Handkerchief. I like I like what the Handkerchief did. Very creepy. I do like something that happens at the end. Even though I was gonna say I saw it coming, but I mean, if you figure it out just a few pages before it happens, does that count? Um, but it was pretty cool. Not quite enough to bump it up to a 5, but still possibly my favorite scene in the book. There you have it. I'll be back next time with part 5 and then part 6 and then a video where I talk about everything, all 6 parts as a whole. No question for this video. So if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I am @EL Smith. That's all I've got for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.